What is up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation Wannabe, and I just want to do a quick video on why I plan on leasing with Prime. Now, I'd kind of alluded to this in an earlier video and got a little bit of feedback, so I just kind of wanted to address that topic and why I think a lease is going to be the right move for me to make. Now, going back to when I first started at Prime, my intentions were kind of mixed as far as being a company or a lease driver. I was leaning a little bit towards company, but in the end, lease turned out to be a better situation for me. Now, in comparing the lease and the company driver position, there were things that I had to take into account. And a lot of those things revolved around benefits, whether that be medical, dental, those things like that. And since my wife has a job that's covering my medical and dental, that was pretty much not part of this equation. Now, Prime does have a 401k program. I forgot how much they match, but let's say it's between 3 and 4%. I do realize that you will lose at least that match by going lease. You can invest your money in other places similar to what a 401k would be on your own, but you do lose that match. And I did take that into consideration. And we're going to come up with, I'm going to bring up a reason why that match isn't really that big of an issue a little bit down the road in this video. So, another reason why I was kind of considering going with the company situation is there's just no liability. So those were all the reasons I was thinking about going company. And here's the reasons why I'm eventually going to go lease. Now, a lot of you guys have been watching my page know that I've stayed on with my trainer. I could have already upgraded a while back, but I decided to stay on. And as of right now, that pay that I'm getting is $1,000 a week minimum with an overage on the miles, I believe. So usually it's pretty consistent at that. So let's talk about the lease and why I plan on going lease. Now, let's just bring up the first reason. The first reason, I'd mentioned the 401k match that you lose on. Politics aside, everything like that, this new tax plan that came out last year is absolutely bullshit to anybody that is a W-2 employee that used to have the ability to write off some of those expenses on their taxes. I came out of the mortgage industry and I lost a bunch of money with this new tax plan that came out, and I think truck drivers are even losing more with this new tax plan. So that is a definite reason why I'm thinking about going lease. And I think in reality that the ability to be able to write off more on your taxes under a company makes up for that loss that you have on the 401k match. So that right there is one of the reasons why I'm planning on going lease. Another reason I'm thinking about going lease is the ability to choose my own routes and fuel when and where I want. Now, the fuel, that's a minor thing. The route, and I'm not 100% sure if you can choose your own route company. I'm not sure if you can. So if anybody's watching this for Prime that's a company driver that says you can choose your own routes, please leave that in the comments below. But there have been several times when I was well, let's just talk about 2 times recently. There are a whole lot more times than this, but we're coming out of Southern California, and the GPS is sending us through, or we're going to Colorado, eastern Colorado, from Southern California, and the GPS is sending us over I-70. Anybody that lives in Colorado that's driven that, or a lot of truck drivers, going over I-70 makes completely no sense when you could dip down a little bit lower and go that southern route through New Mexico and Arizona. So it's a little bit longer, but you're not getting bogged down by all those mountains, especially in the wintertime. Now, the odd thing about it was we were coming out of a similar place in California, going basically to the same destination, and that routed us down that direction that particular time. I'm not sure why the GPS did it that second time, but anyway. And there's a few other reasons why choosing my own route would be beneficial, I think. During the winter time, I think there's times when you might be going out to the East Coast where the route, the Qualcomm may be taking you down I-80 when I think going 40 lower through the southern United States and then coming up, once you're further east might make more sense. Either way, I'm not 100% sure on that, but just the ability to choose my own route, I think, makes sense to me, whether that's to avoid tolls or whatever. The ability to take time off when I want it, that's a major one for me. I know that a lot of people that are watching this that are either with Prime or not with Prime are going to say that's the easy way to get in the hole. I'm not afraid to get in the hole and not get paid for a while. I have, a decent amount of reserves around that can cover that until I get back out of the hole. So that's really not that big of a deal for me. Those are kind of the main reasons. Let me take a look at my notes because I have written these things down. I am pretty thorough when I kind of come to making decisions. So, one thing I forgot, the ability to turn down loads. Now, I'm not even sure that this would be something that I would do that often, but I did just take, maybe a few weeks ago we were in Florida and got one of them prime floral loads, and that's just a load that I will not take regardless of how much money you make. I would rather deadhead out of Florida as far as maybe even like Tennessee to get out of that. That was just a load I would really not look forward to doing. So that, and then there was a couple other times where, my trainer is, he's a lease guy, but he's a company guy. And that's probably why his, or why our fleet manager likes him so much, is he does whatever's best for the company. And there was a time that we took a $19 load from our drop yard in Fontana to, I think it was a Walmart distribution center. It was 30 miles for $19, and we sat at the dock for 9 hours. So I might turn that particular load down, or at least talk to the dispatcher about what the reasoning would be behind that. Now, one of the reasons that I feel comfortable doing the lease with Prime is that it's a no money down, walk away lease. And one of the things that I'm looking at doing within the next few years is possibly buying some more investment properties, things like that. If I was to go, because a lot of people are going to say, if you want to lease, go out and lease your own truck, all that kind of stuff. If it really came down to it, I could go lease my own, or I'm not sure if I qualify for that, but I could certainly, if I had to, buy the truck. So I could do that, either financing it, paying it cash, whatever. But if you finance that truck, and one of my intentions over the next few years is to buy investment properties, having that on my credit limits, it basically lowers my debt to income ratio, or actually it raises my debt to income ratio to where potentially I may not be able to qualify for a property or properties that I look at wanting to invest in. So the no money down walkaway lease is definitely a reason I feel comfortable with it. Now, as far as me personally, because it seemed like I had a lot of people that were concerned about my well-being and stuff like that. Me and my wife live very conservatively. We have no debt. We have a mortgage on this house, and we have passive income that basically offsets the mortgage on this property. And so we're pretty set as far as that goes. We have, 401ks, money in the bank, things like that. So uh, those are all things that make me feel comfortable leasing a truck. Now, one of the things that I've been hearing is that you can make as much money or more money going company as you can lease. And money was not even a factor in why I plan on choosing to go lease. So I would still be choosing to go lease even if the money was going to be a little bit less, just due to the flexibility that I would have going lease. So uh, I think I pretty much have this thought out pretty thoroughly. Another thing that people have been saying is, freight is low. Now, whether it's low or not, I haven't been seeing that, but let's say it is low. I would rather go into any business when the times are slow than when the times are busy, so that you could build your business platform around that. So when times get better, you're ready to rock and things get better. Starting a business in an upswing, to me, is not the best time to start in a business, because if that's what your business model is based on and business gets slow, now you're in trouble. So I think if freight is slow, that's a good time to start in it. Anyway, I think that's about all that I need to say on this topic. I am going to welcome any additional information that people have, whether it be Prime or outside of Prime, in the comments section below. If you haven't had a chance to stop by my barbecue and cooking channel, No Hippie Barbecue and Cooking on YouTube, please go and check that channel out. I will be doing some cooking videos when I get out on my own truck. Until then, it's just going to be everyday barbecue and cooking that you could do while you're at the house. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I'm out.